Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Mafia Definitive Edition. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. Let's continue where we left off. We're going to do one of the best chapters in the game right now. And if you guys are enjoying this series, please drop a like. It does help the series out a lot.
Stay on it! What do you think I'm trying to do? He's trying to beat the train! We can make it!
It could be worse, huh? We could be peeling you off the front of the train.
He just got a good break is all.
Sergio Morella's always been lucky. He was born with more brains than his brother, that's for sure.
We'll get him, boss.
No, you two are off this job. You're broken mirrors on this one. We'll let the guy who killed Galati take a crack. Tommy here's got all the politicians scared. Maybe he can put Sergio in the ground.
What do I need to know about this guy?
Besides, he's got a lucky rabbit's foot up his ass.
Sergio is Morello's top earner. He controls the unions, which means he controls the docks and attacks everything that's imported into the city. We kill him, and a big part of Morello's income will be wiped out.
Any ideas on how to get to him? I don't want to end up in a tree like these two.
You're going to scatter his ashes. It's a custom job. Attach it to the starter under his car. He'll be a human torch as soon as he turns the key.
It's safe to carry.
Hey, just don't drop it. Shake it. Smoke near it. Yeah, it's safe. Boom!
Get it done, Tommy. For all our guys Morella's killed. And for all the money he's taken out of our pockets.
I'll take care of it, boss.
So about this chapter, what I'll say about this one is, in the Mafia Definitive Edition, most of the chapters that you play are better than the originals, but this is one of the few chapters where the original, I think the original chapter was actually better than the Definitive Edition. The reason that the chapter is actually called You Lucky Bastard is because Sergio is also, Morello's brother, and he's the underboss of the Morello crime family, but in the original, there was 5 different assassination attempts on him. 5. There was the hit at the restaurant where Polly tried to kill him at the restaurant and the guy tried to pick up the phone. They thought it was him, but it wasn't him. The second one was car bombing. That's what you're going to see here. That failed. And then the third one was Polly tried to assassinate him outside of a diner, but the Tommy gun wasn't loaded, and that was, the third fail. And then the fourth fail was Salieri gave the job to another crew, and then Tommy was just the lookout. And they tried to push him onto a train tracks, but then he actually got off the train tracks, and the hitman actually got killed by the train, and then Tommy chased him and killed him in the 5th attempt. But the reason that the mission was so funny was because Tommy had... there was 5 different assassination attempts on him, and every single time something would just constantly keep going wrong. Something would just constantly keep failing every single time. That's why it was so funny.
You still here, Tom?
That Cafone ain't gonna shoot himself. He's gonna need some help. I still can't believe he got by that train. I'm losing my touch.
Sure, you're old, Vinny, but you still got it.
Old? What the hell did I say about old? I could still be 100, and if he walked through my crosshairs, his teeth would crack the sidewalk.
You taught me everything I know, Vinny. And don't mean nothing about it.
Taught Paulie Lombardo everything he knows. Jesus, his picture books would mourn him.
Yeah, so, in this one, there's gonna be a few failed attempts, but they're not as good as the original. The original was just much more funnier. Any other conversations here? No, I don't think so then. Okay.
There's no way they'd come here.
I used to run with his crew. If Morello wakes up one morning and wants to come heavy, he'll come heavy.
Nah, no he won't.
He goes with his gut. If there's one thing he's got, it's gut.
He'd see all of Little Italy burn.
To the ground.
Oh, Ralph's here.
Take whatever motor you wanted, Tom.
Sure. You good?
Kinda. Could have done without Sam and Vinny wrecking Paulie's motor. Guy's been acting like his balls are in a vice. You're a real good dad, Tom. I seen the way you are with your kid. Only thing I got off of my pop was a beating. Some of the days it feels like I'm the only guy who don't go to work healed.
A lot of people miss these dialogues that you can have with a lot of the guys before you actually go to missions. That's why I always like to explore, walk around. Let me also go to Vinny's shop here really quick. Okay, Magnum pistol, take that one. Take the Springfield today on this part here. We'll take the bat.
Of WLH 570, a special report on crime in our city. It had been hoped by lawmakers and the general public alike that the end of Prohibition would cut off the mob's air supply. But 2 years since the repeal of the 18th Amendment, it seems to have merely added fuel to the conflagration of crime that engulfs the country. It would appear that removing the conditions that created a new type of virulent gangsterism is not going to remove the problem. The criminal empires that amassed such wealth and power in the last decade and a half are simply too powerful, too deep-rooted to simply be swept away. The more established of these organizations are consolidating their power. The competition between them continues to bring violence and bloodshed into the public square. We saw this at Empire Bay with the Vinci Moretti War that ended in the car bomb killing of mob boss Tommaso Moretti. Gangs such as the Vinci family are now, in many cases, highly sophisticated, well-organized international operations. They owe their success to their brutality and to the many lawmen and legislators in their pockets. Yes, don't allow yourself to be mistaken. The mob may be the instigator, the driving partner, but the corrupt politician or the dirty cop is the facilitator, and both roles must be played for organized crime to flourish. I've heard it mentioned in certain newspapers that the upward trajectory of the economy would quell the mob's opportunities to exploit police and lawmakers. That, sadly, doesn't appear to be the case. Those engaged in corruption are not doing so to put food on the table. City officials and public servants earn more than most, and did so even at the height of the Depression, so that, frankly, does not wash. Plenty of people far worse off live without sin. As we have seen in Lost Heaven, standing up to the mob can be a dangerous game. Suspected mob hits carried out against officials in a number of American cities attest to that. What are our state and federal governments doing to ease public concerns? What can we expect from J. Edgar Hoover and his BOI, now
Hoover is the head of the
Federal
FBI.
Bureau of Investigations?
Different
Are we
Hoover, not
so
Herbert.
Powerless in the face of such callous disregard for human life? We shall let you know if we ever receive answers to these questions. This concludes our special report.
But basically, what that radio report was saying there was that even though Prohibition is what made the Mafia what they are, made them so powerful, but the thing about that is that even after Prohibition was repealed, it hurt the Mafia, sure, but they already had so much money, they just invested it into other things. Into casinos, other rackets, and so, you know, they were fine at that point. Stay silent. Do not alert the neighborhood. Okay. That's Sergio's
that's
house.
Gotta be Sergio's car. How am I gonna get through to it?
There's a body single guard in the front.
Nothing doing. Haven't been doing here for weeks.
Now about this scene, guys, even though the original version of this mission is better, this scene is better than in the original. The bombing is better, and the bombing is pretty realistic. How you just see the blast and the windows shatter and everything like that too.
Yeah,
make sure you guys pay attention to this scene because this scene is exactly the reason why the Mafia doesn't use car bombs anymore.
For supper. Hey, you wanna go dancing this weekend? Maybe drop the kid off at your pop's place. Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, Christ. Hey! Stop! No, no, no.
Oh, God!
Vinny, it all went bad.
Hey, pull it together, Tom. Whatever happened, happened. There's nothing you can do about it now. Sergio's luck is running out.
What are you talking about?
Sam and Paulie have found him. He's in Georgie's restaurant across town. You need to get over there fast.
Okay.
Yeah, this type of you want to get out of here really quickly, like this type of scene. But, now what I was gonna say about this, guys, is here's the thing. I don't want to sound like a psychopath by saying this, but I actually don't really feel that bad for her getting blown up. And the reason I don't feel that bad, is, even though it wasn't Sergio, is because that was Sergio's wife, if you're wondering who got blown up right there. Is my reasoning for that is she knew who she married. That was pretty much it. Is what people don't understand is that a lot of times these mafia bosses' wives, like these gangster wives, they are just as bad as the gangster themselves a lot of times. They are living on that blood money. They very much know it. The only time that a boss's wife might not know that they're a boss is maybe if they're like a lower level member, like a soldier. Maybe then. But then they could probably lie to their wives about, who they are, what they do for a living. But if, you're talking about Sergio, he's the underboss of the family. You're telling me his wife wouldn't know that he is, who he is exactly, especially after his name is in the papers all the time, the fact that he has bodyguards out in the front too, and then she's living off of that blood money too. She's driving an expensive car. So that's what I would say about that, is that, she knew who she married, she knew who she got into a relationship with. Again, doesn't mean that it's justified, but the point that I'm basically getting at is that she knew exactly the type of monster that she married, and she was fine living off that blood money. All the people that he killed, all the people that he tortured for that money, she was fine living under that. It would have been worse if the daughter died. If the daughter got blown up in the car, that would have been way worse, because, she can't control who, what family she gets born into. She's purely innocent. But if we're talking about the wife, that's just basically my reasoning. Again, I don't want to sound like a psycho, but that's basically what I think about Tommy. Is also Tommy's reaction is way more better in the remake, because in the original he doesn't care. Like in the original he tries to stop her, but then after she gets blown up he just laughs about it and makes a joke about it, and he says, "Wow, that's one hot dame." That's what he says. So Tommy sounds like a sociopath in the original. So they kind of made this scene a lot better, like Tommy shaking and trembling. But also you hear Vinny's voice, like when Vinny says to Tommy, he's like, "Pull yourself together." It's like, whatever happened, happened. There's nothing you can do about it. Like that just shows how cold Vinny is and how cold, the mafia guys are. But what I wanted to discuss here on this part is I actually wanted to discuss about the car bombs. The Mafia does not use car bombs really anymore. This is just something that you see in the movies. Now, the Mafia did use car bombs in the past, that is true, and they were actually pretty common, but in America at least, they don't really use car bombs anymore. Now, I actually did a little bit of research, and I tried to find out exactly when the last time that the Mafia actually used a car bomb, and the last time that the Mafia actually did use a car bomb, it happened in 1986. It was April 13, 1986, and the target at the time was Frank de Ciso. But about Frank was actually the underboss of the Gambino family, and he was the underboss also to John Gotti. Now, why was actually Frank killed? Frank, got into his car, and then the car was activated by remote control, and he got blown up, and a civilian also got injured, but I think the civilian survived. So he was dead instantly. Now, why was Frank killed? This happened in New York, by the way, my hometown. The reason that Frank was killed was because of it was the commission who had basically put out that hit on him. The target was actually John Gotti, but they ended up getting Frank, the underboss. And it sent a message to John Gotti as well. But what basically happened was there was a power struggle in the Gambino family. And John Gotti and Frank, they were both Capo regime's captains in the family. They wanted this guy called Paul Castellano gone. And Paul was the boss of the family. Now, about Castellano is the reason that Gotti wanted him gone was because he wanted to take over, but it was also a little bit more than that, is that Gotti did not feel that the boss was showing him proper respect, and on top of that, the boss was also against dealing drugs. He did not want to deal drugs in the Gambino family, but Gotti was actually dealing drugs, and there was a massive conflict, and Gotti was scared that he was going to get killed, or he was going to get demoted, probably killed, and so, he ended up having Paul Castellano killed, and that happened in December 1985, so about half a year before Frank was killed, and they were, what happened was Paul and his bodyguard were walking out of a steak restaurant in New York, and they both both got gunned down, shot, and killed. And what happened is, when this assassination attempt happened, Gotti did not admit this to the family. He didn't admit that he was the one who did it, but everybody in the Gambino family knew. People were scared to go against him, and he ended up taking over, and then he made Frank his underboss. And the commission is basically like a large body of families. It's like, what you see in Mafia 2, for example, like all the families coming together, and they make rules. They make rules on, what you can and can't do, and you cannot, kill a made man without a reason. And especially the boss, his boss, and did not ask the commission for permission on that. And this clearly violated the rules, but everybody knew Gotti did it. Even though Gotti didn't admit to it, it was obvious. Everybody knew that Gotti did it. And what happened was the Genovese and the Lucchesi family, they went after Gotti. And then they planted that bomb, and they ended up killing Frank. And they killed Frank in April 13, 1986. But however, though, that was not the last real mafia bombing. That was in America. The last official mafia bombing actually happened in Sicily. So this happened in Palermo in Sicily. And the guy who was the target was a guy called Borsellino, who was actually a top prosecutor in Sicily, and he had gone after the mafia, and he brought the mafia, the Sicilian mafia, down a lot. Like, he had a lot of guys prosecuted. He was the top prosecutor. He actually pulled up to his mom's house in Palermo, and his Fiat actually got blown up. It was a giant explosion. 100 packed with explosives detonated. And about what ended up happening is he was killed instantly, but there was only 5 other police officers that were possibly in the car or around the car. And the guy who ended up doing this was Toto Rina, who was the boss of the Corleonesi faction of the Sicilian Mafia. I don't know about the Sicilian Mafia history that well, but this was basically the last car bombing that the Mafia ever did. I'm sure there was others that they probably couldn't prove, but officially, as on record, this is the one that we can prove that was the Italian Mafia, or Sicilian Mafia in this case, that did it here. But about this is the goal of bombing him. The Sicilians were brutal. They were way more brutal than the American Mafia. And the goal of, killing this prosecutor was basically to scare the public. It was scare the government. But it backfired really badly. Because what this did was it made the public outraged. And there was massive protests in Italy against the Mafia about this prosecutor being killed. And there was such pressure on the Mafia that the Mafia got even more attention on them. So they were hoping... That's how the Sicilians acted. The Sicilians relied on fear and intimidation. But this backfired tremendously, because they killed this prosecutor that people liked, and then there was such protests and such outrage. The boss that ordered that Toto Rina guy ended up actually getting arrested for that. He was already a fugitive on the run. He got arrested, sentenced to life in prison. He never showed remorse for for killing the prosecutor. He died in 2017 in prison. But now, going back to the Mafia, why does the Mafia not use car bombs anymore? Why don't they do car bombs? The reason they don't do car bombs is because exactly what you saw here in this scene. This is a perfect example of why the Mafia does not use car bombs anymore. So, about car bombs, there's a number of reasons, but let me explain why. First of all, you have to make a bomb, and that's going to be expensive, complicated for the Mafia, depending on what they have to do. They have to then get to the car, sneak up on the car, like Tommy did, attach it to the car without being spotted, which also makes the thing complicated. So first of all, it's expensive, it's complicated to make, it's complicated to get it there, wire it to the car without being actually spotted, and then the third thing on top of that is that you have to make sure that the person getting into the car is the target. Because somebody else could get into the car, or the person could not drive. If the person gets really paranoid, they might not drive. And then somebody else might get into the car and start it up for them. And that's exactly what might happen there. That's why a lot of Mafia guys actually checked underneath their car when they were actually getting into their car back in the day, because of this stuff happening exactly. But that's what happened, is that innocent people would get into these cars, and they would basically get blown up. In this case, it was Sergio's wife. She ended up getting blown up. And not only that, but what the car bomb also does is it puts everybody else at risk. So in a place like New York, for example, remember how I talked about Frank getting killed by the car bomb? Well, when Frank Cisso got killed by that car bomb, it injured a civilian. I think the civilian survived, but it could have been also a lot worse. New York is a very, packed place, and when you saw how that phone booth shattered. It was either the backblast of the bomb or possibly shrapnel. So shrapnel is actually pieces of the explosive. So like pieces of the car and other, pieces of the bomb are going to go flying really fast. And when it comes to artillery and warfare, that's actually what kills people the most. Not actually the blast, the shrapnel, all the pieces, all the stuff, the explosion that actually ends up flying all over the place. And this, flying at supersonic speeds, this can rip through your skin and kill you. Just as deadly as a bullet, possibly even worse, depending on how big the shrapnel piece is. But that's basically it, is that the car bombs endanger civilians, and it could kill civilians that are on the streets. Now, why would the Mafia care about killing civilians? There's two reasons. The first reason is some Mafias do have a code where they don't want to hurt civilians. Now, I know some people might find that hard to believe, but some do. I'm not saying every single one. The Mafia are cold-blooded killers, but they do have some codes and some rules depending on the family and depending on what Mafia it is. Like, for example, like in The Sopranos, like when Phil is going after Tony's, family, and then Tony basically tells, Carmela, don't worry, the rules are they don't target families, and then he still puts his wife and his, son into a hotel because he's worried about them still going after them. But typically there is some codes on that. Not all Mafias follow it, but that's also part of the reason. The second part of the reason is that the Mafia might not necessarily care about the civilians. They don't necessarily care about them, but the reason that in this case it's important is because if a civilian dies who is not the target, then it's going to get a lot more heat on them. It's going to get a lot more attention. The more people die, the more attention it's going to get. And the last reason is the heat. Think about the heat that this causes. Think about it. What causes more attention in the newspapers? What causes more attention to the police? Imagine if, some guy, some gangster that the Mafia wants to kill, right, is walking up the street. Mafia hitman comes up behind him with a .38 revolver, shoots him 2 times in the back of the head. That is the most common Mafia execution. Hitman will come up behind a guy. That's how the Italian Mafia in America kill people the most of the time. They come up behind him, shoot him twice in the back of the head. That is the most common way that they kill him. What's going to cause more attention? Think about it. Some hitman going up behind somebody on the sidewalk, shooting them 2 times in the back of the head, and then walking away really quickly, or a car bomb going off on a busy street in New York. What is going to cause more attention? A car bomb. And here's the thing. The federal government passed RICO laws, which RICO laws, they were basically laws that, federal laws that broke up the Mafia, and they made much stricter and harsher punishments for the Mafia. And if there was a car bombing involved in that as part of the RICO laws, it could bring down an entire organization. Everybody tied to that could basically get life in prison. Even if the people were not the ones who planted the bomb, everybody could basically get life in prison for, something like that. And also, if there is a bombing, even if it's not a terrorist attack, the feds are going to get involved. So the federal government gets involved. So when there is a bombing, the federal government is going to get involved. FBI is going to get involved on that when there's a bombing. FBI isn't really going to get involved if there's, somebody gets shot 2 times in the back of the head on the sidewalk, in New York. So that's basically what I'll say about that. It's the reason that they don't use car bombs anymore is because it's too complicated, it's expensive, they have to sneak up under the car without getting spotted, and they have to also guarantee that the person is going to get in the car, which the person might not always get in the car, it might be somebody else that gets in the car, and the heat that it causes, the amount of civilians it could injure and the heat that it causes. That's why the Mafia doesn't really use car bombs. It's like a combination of factors, but that's basically all the reason that they stopped using them. But that's basically, ultimately, what I'll say about this here. And again, I know some people might be thinking that they feel bad for that woman, but in regards, she wasn't the intended target, but at the same time, as I don't, feel that bad for Tommy, because she knew exactly who she married. She knew that she married a monster. Sergio was evil, so she knew exactly who she married. That's basically what I'll say about that.
Tom, you okay? Yeah, it's the car bomb. Things went south.
We could draw about it later. Right now, we gotta get that bastard. Let's go. What the hell? We got a message from Mr. Salieri. No! Kill these clowns!
So you see how evil Sergio is?
First we take you, we got another friend. And it's your boss. Come on, Tom, you enjoying your meal? Try the special, fellas. Where the hell is that bastard hiding?
get in the way. Tom, we gotta get Sergio. He went out the back. Gotcha now.
Get me out of here!
Motherfucker! Oh, he's gone! Go get him, Tommy! Come on! Let's get back to the car. We gotta catch up before that idiot gets himself killed!
Oh god. Yeah, this is why the bike chase in this part is, ridiculous. At least this bike has good acceleration. Did he just crash? Okay. Yeah, don't get too close to them or they'll shoot you. I remember he goes to the docks.
So get it! Got it, Sam!
They crashed again. That's, But yeah, you guys gotta look up. One day I want to do a playthrough the original Mafia, but you guys gotta look up the original mission, the version of this mission. It's actually funny because of all the failed attempts that they constantly make on Sergio. Oh, look at this part. I love this part here. See this scene? Look, a giant, strike and protest. This game is the best depiction of the Great Depression. Out of any video game that I've ever seen, the most historically accurate depiction of the Great Depression is this game.
What are you idiots doing? Kill that motherfucker!
You down here now! He's coming this way! Finished!
Oh, great. I forgot about this part. It's been some time since I played this. Oh, the damn sniper that's in the...
Fire going out! This ain't good! Reloading! Lost the guy!
Did I get him? Now I got him. Okay, so that's why I keep the Magnum. Oh, God, I hate when they throw those Molotovs. I really hate that. Damn, no ammo here.
Right there! End of the line!
Okay. Scared I was gonna fall off there. Almost. Come on. Well, no, they better not. There we go. Use that sniper rifle to its uses.
Shot, huh? Hey! Hey! Over here! Lining up a shot. Gotcha! Get on his side! Oh God, he killed him! I'm gonna finish him with the Tom. Found you.
Can I climb up there? No, I don't think I can. Okay.
Found him! Box him in!
No. Damn. Okay.
He's coming this way!
Damn, how many bodyguards does Sergio have? This game's very difficult on classic difficulty. I need some ammo now. I'm gonna have to take this. I have.
What do I pay you for? He's tearing the docks apart!
Ah, damn. Try to get that damn sniper rifle.
What do I pay you for? He's tearing the docks apart!
Get cover! Reloading! Molotov going out!
No, I hate when they throw Molotovs.
You're mine! I'll make a hole in him! You finish him off! Get it! You ain't got long, pal. Tick tock. He's on my ass!
There we go. I think we got all of Sergio's bodyguards now. That mission is not easy.
Your rifles are
More of them.
Someone kill him!
Find a way into the depot, okay. Sergio's death is, even though the mission is better itself in the original, Sergio's death is a little bit better in the definitive edition. So there are some things that both do better, but overall I thought the mission was a bit better in the original.
Fuck, what happened? Some kind of fucking train?
He's here! Yeah! You can't hide! Burn him out! Molotov going up! Find him cover! Box him in! That guy hit the ground! Shit! This ain't good! Molotov!
I hate when they throw the Molotovs. I hate that so much. He's still alive.
Tougher than the rest, pal!
No! Damn, that is the worst part when they do that crap.
This ain't good!
Okay. Is this it? He's got an army here.
What do you want? Money? I can get you money. You kill me, my brother, with everything you know. Come on. Let's finish this. You just winged me, asshole. You think you're the guy who's gonna kill me? What did I tell you? No one can touch me.
You ain't that lucky, bastard.
Wait. No! No!
I think that is there going to be an intermezzo one here? Let's see if there is. But yeah, Sergio's in the original. Sergio just died. You just shot him. Okay, next one's gonna be a really big one.
After we killed Sergio.
But I guess we will wrap this up here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. If you did, drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.